I had a few more interesting moments of 2023. I've had a few more fun things that happened. I went to TwitchCon EU.
Oh, of course, yes.
If it wasn't for the podcast, I would have quit by now. And I'm very, very honest in saying that I wouldn't be doing content. I wouldn't be in this community. I would have gone offline and just I don't know what I'd be doing in my life, but I wouldn't have any ambition or motivation.
Someone has been made a team maker, which is me. I'm one of the team makers.
Let's go.
I'm very excited for the future of the event and what we're doing. Alright lads, welcome back to MidweekMC, the part of the podcast where I sit down with my amazing co-host, InsaneOrbitzz, and we talk rubbish basically. We talk about everything that's going on in the world of Minecraft and beyond. And yes, it's a very exciting episode. How are you doing today, Orbitzz?
Hello AJX, and welcome back to... Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing okay, yeah. It's been a stressful day for personal reasons, but we're vibing. I'm glad to be here.
I mean, I'm just shattered, lad. I'm working silly hours. I'm getting home, instantly jumping into the podcast. But it makes it all worth it down the line, right?
Exactly. You basically do everything all the time. You're basically working 24/7 at the moment.
Essentially, the only time I stop working is when I sleep. But the grind is real. So
the grind is real indeed. Well, with that work, it's actually gonna be perfect for this episode, right? Because we are talking all things 2023 and of course going into the future 2024, and by the future I mean the present, because this is the first podcast of the year we're recording.
I mean the midweek MC of the year. I did record a podcast two days ago inside MC, but it's fine.
On the first, wow.
If you think about AJX, we haven't recorded a podcast together since last year. Everyone clicks off.
Yep.
But also, AJX, I do have a quick question before we get into this. That intro that you recorded, it seems very similar to my one, and you didn't write it down anywhere. So how did you nail my intro so perfectly? Were you reading it from somewhere?
Oh, if only I was reading it from the place to get information from, the InsideMC wiki, which is now live.
No way.
Oh my god!
It got announced last Tuesday. From when this podcast is coming out, it got announced on the 2nd of January. The InsideMC now has a wiki, which is pretty cool. It's the place to find all things InsideMC. Everything you want to know about the podcast team. Not everything, but the stuff that you need to know. And it also has every single guest that's been on, every single podcast that's happened. It's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool personally. So
it's incredible, and thank you to Torteal, who obviously did it and joined the team.
Exactly.
Which is very exciting. 2 new joins recently. Team's getting bigger and bigger for 2024, which is proof that we're just going up and up.
I think that's where it caps out though. We have 7, so I think where we have the lucky number 7 right now, and depending on what happens, but we'll see. Something could change by the time this podcast comes out.
I was going to say, we're going to hit the big time and you're going to want editors, so
No, I can do everything myself. I don't need editors.
Oh, damn, crazy. Fair enough. I'm just lazy. Let's just get that out of the way. I'm incredibly lazy. I let editors do everything for me.
See, I want the podcast to be really, really successful, so I'm putting in the work, and then hopefully I can turn it full time. Because basically, for context, lads, this week and on Monday, if the guest who is meant to be coming on, I won't say the name just in case it's not, comes on, and then the Wednesday after, I'm finishing work at 5:30, getting home for about 6, having dinner, and then straight into the podcast, because I do this little pre-talk and then the podcast. So, but work hard if you want to be successful, right, AJX?
Yes, exactly. That's what I always think about. You just got to continue striving upwards, and you're making money and you're doing what you love to do, is the podcast. So it all works out in the end.
So the last time that a podcast was released, it was just me and you, AJX, no guests, was the mental health podcast, which was episode 055. We are now on, I shouldn't even say episode, it should be edition. We are now on edition 071. So it's been a while since it's been just us, and the idea for MidweekMC was essentially meant to be me and you sitting down waffling about anything really. Now we got a little bit carried away way. Next week's podcast is most likely having a guest, and then in 3 weeks that podcast is most likely having a guest as well. So, you know, we're still gonna have guests on Midweek MC, but it is gonna go more into just myself and AJX. However, what are we talking about today? You've kind of touched on it in the intro there, but we got lost in talking about the wiki and stuff. So what is today's topic?
We're talking all things 2023 and basically how we've evolved over the year.
Evolved. We're Pokemon. We're shiny Pokemon. There you go.
In a way, yes, I am a shiny Pokemon. That rare, that amazing. That's all I'm saying.
That cool, exactly. There isn't a format. We are just going to talk about whatever we feel like talking about. Nothing's really going to... We're not going to go January, February. I don't know about you, AJX. I don't have any notes about my year. I'm just going to talk about what I remember the most, since how I see it is that's probably the most important if I can remember it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I would say as well. I think as long as we just vibe and talk to each other like we usually do. We usually talk for hours about rubbish. So
more message. I mean, you never want to call me unless it's the podcast, AJX. It's very sad, actually.
Hey, look. I called you last week. What are you talking about?
You're a busy man. I respect it. Yes, you're busy. Yeah. So right. Do you want to? I also want to clarify that there's a few topics that I want to talk about that don't really revolve around me too much, but link into hopeful plans for 2024. So we'll get to that. We'll cross that bridge when it comes. However, who's starting here today, AJX? Do you want to talk about yourself first, or obviously we're going to kind of jump between the both of us, but who's kickstarting 2023 podcast?
I think it should start with you. I think you got a lot of interesting stuff to say, especially about how it's all started and so on.
All right, fair enough. I guess the biggest one that would make sense to talk about right now is the return of the podcast and how the podcast has evolved over 2023. So for anyone who doesn't know, in 2022, give or take October, this is part promotion but also just fact. The exact dates and everything are on the wiki, so you can check the wiki if you want exact dates on when the podcast starts, when it returned. It is all there, so it's promotion, but it's also true at the same time. I'm not trying to sell out. So in 2022, the podcast took a break in June/July. The final podcast was uploaded in October, and I started a night shift job, so sadly couldn't continue the podcast. Kind of stopped content overall, which kind of killed my streaming career and killed my Bedrock career, because when I made the return to content in March through the amazing FaZe Ray, by that I mean I made content and then I switched to Java and then I met FaZe Ray. There's a long story, maybe for a future podcast if FaZe Ray ever comes on, who knows. But the podcast also made a return at the end of April. It started off quite slow. It's quite funny because I always appreciate the stats in the moment. So looking back at the stats of the start of the year, looking back at it now, the podcast was sometimes getting an hour watch time every single day. If the podcast drops below 10 hours watch time now, it's I mean the stats still aren't amazing, but for the size of the podcast, it's pretty cool. And it's quite funny looking at the change in stats of how it's times by 10, and I appreciate both the exact same. But the podcast made a return. I started by mainly inviting friends and just all content creators around about my size, I'll take. I mean, there was the invites of Shalom, the owner of Minecraft Mayhem, and this was long before I even played in the event. Ham Sandwich, who I got really into their streams and really enjoyed watching. That podcast was recorded at 10 a.m. in the morning, so that was definitely a fun one. I got other groups of people who I don't some of them I don't really talk to much anymore, but I still talk to, I'm still in contact with, but they came on the podcast and it was all a process of helping growing until it started to take a turn about 5 months ago, which when it got into, I'm talking like I'm on stream right now, but I am just gonna waffle. The podcast you're just gonna listen to me mindlessly waffle and AJ's mindlessly waffle. When I started to get the likes of Nebula, Piggles, Fulham on the podcast, and then 3 months ago, I can't believe it's been that long already, MidweekMC was introduced.
Oh my god, 3 months.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I know it was right after the Anfos podcast, the owner of One Block Every Day. The first MidweekMC was Meet the New Podcast co-host. That was edition number 37.
Wow. We've been going on a while.
I mean, you haven't showed up to every single one, obviously by my fault. The Mindplex one, I asked if you didn't mind someone else co-hosting, and then one of the ones I literally told you I don't mind if you take a break, and another one you went to Disneyland,
which was so kind.
Exactly. However, I haven't taken any breaks yet. I have been since edition 37. I think the stats are for the last would this be the 18th MidweekMC uploaded? I think it is. If this is the 18th one, for the last 18 weeks, I have been editing and uploading 2 podcasts every single week on top of working a full-time job.
Bloody Nora, that is just
it's a little bit
too much.
Yeah, the grind's got to be there. I mean, it's paid off. There are some really amazing guests who've come on, and I'm hoping to go in the future. I mean, you part of the podcast team, AJX, you get to see possibly planned guests, so it's kind of cool.
Yes, I do. Yes, it's very cool. So, I was going to say, Shalom was the first person to I watched the podcast. It was the first episode I watched.
And that was the first guest of the return. So
yes, it was, which is kind of ironic, as what we'll talk about later. But that's that's kind of a cool thing that happened.
Things tend to go full circle. I mean, you know, like it's Inside MC was also always an interesting podcast because it was originally meant to be me and a co-host waffling, and then I got a guest on. And I thought, oh my god, I absolutely love talking to a new person every single week, and I kind of got hooked on it. Now, ever since the return, for the last like 40 odd weeks, give or take, I think it is, there's been a new guest on every single Inside MC, and possibly there's recordings planned until like mid-March, because at the end of March, which we'll get into talking more in depth later, just about in regards to plans of 2024, I will possibly be taking a break from uploading the podcast, which I'm going to actually be really sad about because I'm kind of addicted. But it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it when the time comes. So
yes, exactly. So yes, the big thing was the start of the podcast for you, but you know, you also had a lot of other things happen this year. You've mentioned before you joined the Java community, specifically the Java event community, and you've met a lot of interesting people. You've been in a lot of interesting events. How's that been for you?
Honestly, I haven't really joined the Java event community, in all honesty.
Have you not?
Oh. Well, I mean, I joined Minecraft Mania a good few months back, and I had Justin on the podcast as well, which is really, really cool.
True, yeah.
I only ever played one non-canon event, and that's if you don't count Jackcast game nights. So technically 2 non-canon events, I guess, if you really want to. So I haven't really played Minecraft Mania much, and even Minecraft Mayhem, I've only played 2 events.
But then you've been in like Jackcast game nights, you've been in another Minecraft.
I was in Ron Crown Quest, which I didn't enjoy.
True.
You know, not saying it's a bad tournament, I just didn't enjoy it. I cannot enjoy it without it being like a bad tournament.
Yeah.
So I was in Ron Crown Quest. I missed out on the Knights of the Round Table because I rejected your invite, which I'm sad about, because I thought it was going to be later than it was, and I screwed myself over. So there's that. I played in one Crown Quest. I played in 2 Jackcast game nights. One as a podcast team, and or maybe 3 technically. Then no, I played in the first one, the second one. I played in 4. I played in 4 Jackcast game nights. I played in 2 Minecraft Mayhems, and only as of recently, because the first Minecraft Mayhem I was meant to play in, I couldn't because Potato Pie 25 came to England. The second one I couldn't play in because I was in Ireland for my birthday, and then they went on a hiatus. and then I played 2, and I got banned. Sorry?
You played in the same amount of Mayhems as me.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, I wouldn't call myself a Minecraft tournament player. As much as I'd love to become one in 2024, I'd love to play in more tournaments. If you're a tournament owner and you want to invite me, I mean, we'll see, depending. But, you know, all in all, I think I might just be the guy who waffles people, really.
Maybe. I think you played in, like, I know hundreds of people that would kill to have been in that many events. But
I'm not grateful, but I just mean, like, I wouldn't call myself a Minecraft tournament player. I'd call myself someone who would like to be a Minecraft tournament player, but just isn't there quite yet, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. How's it been for, like, as an experience, right? Because I think you came into this community, you were pretty, like, I'm very good at this game, I'm a great player.
I did not.
This community. I don't know. I think you're a pretty solid player.
You don't know anything about me, AJX. Holy, what a bad guy. Did not do your research properly, AJX.
compared to me, you're an elite player.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I guess.
So yeah, how's it felt like going against really difficult people? I don't want to focus too much on events, obviously, but I've always been interested in this, like coming into the community. I always knew I was bad, so.
I mean, I guess I can talk about my whole experience of joining the community if you'd rather that. Just all in all.
Yeah, that's a good
events. So in February last year, I actually got the date the other day. I'm not going to say it publicly. I got the date.
Yeah.
I got suspended from that night shift job. I remember talking about it on stream. It was absolutely outrageous, the reason. Sadly, it happened though. Not much you can do. Well, and then I started streaming pretty much full time from that point. I didn't earn anywhere near to making it full time. It's actually been like 2023 was a really, really tough year for work. Up until the end there, I've been at this job for about 4 months now. I couldn't find like a job to settle down in. I've settled down here pretty nicely, give or take. But I joined a community. I started back with Bedrock content when I came back to content creation, and then somebody recommended I play Tubnet at the time. So then I remember doing a stream of like saving Tubnet where I got like a bunch of people to play, and it was pretty fun. And then somebody suggested MCC Island, and I was like, yeah, I was always on the edge about playing it, but I said, screw it, I'll play it, why not? And then after a few streams, I ended up bumping into FaZe Ray, and I remember like making this whole little bit about stream sniping, about how he was stream sniping. Someone accused him of stream sniping, so I turned into a little bit, followed them on Twitch, raided them, got talking. Then there's like just a big thing from there, which there's no point going into too much depth on. But then I essentially joined the Java community. I remember looking for tournaments to join. One of them was Minecraft Mayhem. Shalom knew me from Bedrock content because he also used to be a Hive player, so that was pretty cool how he used to know me. And then I guess just based on my name, like people started to recognize me more. I started talking to more people, and then I brought the podcast back, and then that's when people were like, okay. And I've kind of established, I started off as like the constant Bedrock guy. I remember Wolfie once saying in a video, saying like, I'm the Bedrock guy, and I was like, oh my god, seriously, I've been streaming for like 6 months, I'm still being called the Bedrock fella. But you know, nowadays I think I'm more referred to. I mean, I don't mind, like it wasn't, I found it funny, and I don't know if I don't know what Wolfie like was like a joke or not. I mean, it probably wasn't, because I understand why he called me the Bedrock guy. You know, essentially I started becoming the podcast guy instead, and I mean, it's paid off. I put so much effort into this. But joining a new community was interesting. It was hard. It was quite hard to do, and it's not easy to go from, like, I lost all my viewers on Twitch. They were all Bedrock viewers, and the Bedrock viewers for some bizarre reason just refused to watch Java content. So I lost all my viewers. I lost contact with a lot of Bedrock creators just because I wasn't really happy in the community I was in. And then, you know, I made a lot of new connections in this one, and I think the podcast helped a bunch. It would have been a lot harder if I was just making normal content, because I mean, I talked about this on the Echo podcast, which is out in 2 days. So if you want to hear more about like streaming and stuff and my views on streaming, you can listen to that one. I'm not going to get into depth on it because there's no point in 2 podcasts in a row. But yeah, you know, all in all, it was interesting joining a new community, but it's paid off, because now I'm here sitting down with you every single week and sitting down with a really cool content creator every single week. So, you know, it works out.
So yeah, pretty awesome like change to happen as well. I'm very glad you changed into the Java community, because obviously we got to meet.
And then yeah, I think that's pretty much all of it, like regarding the new community and the podcast. I mean, I was gonna go into loads of depth on the podcast. If you guys are interested, it probably will happen anyways, even if like none of you mentioned that you want it. We are thinking about doing a MidweekMC down the line of like how to start a Minecraft podcast. I'd like to say I'm pretty established in being able to now. You know, like I know it's not a big Minecraft podcast, or the biggest one in fact, and it's getting there hopefully, but I'd like to say I know enough to like show, just based on the guests that I've been able to get on and reach out to. Because in case you didn't know, I guess a fun fact for people who watch my streams definitely know, but for the people who watch the podcast might not, I reach out and get every single guest myself. I record every single podcast, I edit every single podcast, I promote every single podcast, I schedule, I announce, everything is done by me other than the graphics, and the hosting isn't always by me, because obviously MidweekMC of AJX, but I do everything for the podcast. I have a team behind me, but like, you know, going through the team here, looking at the wiki again, I mean, I know the team off by heart, but still, myself, host, AJX co-host, Roman Rodri helps with research and sometimes can be a co-host if like they're a backup co-host. The Oracat does the graphic designs for the promotions. Bendo is working on something and is a backup co-host. Ortil does the wiki. Joe Carnan now gets clips for the podcast. Like, but other than that, everything else is done by me. So, you know, it just shows the passion to be able to do this for nearly a year straight now. Like, it's coming up on nearly a year of the podcast. Sadly, not going to get weekly uploads just based on stuff, but you know, still a lot has been put into it, you know,
and so rapidly as well, I would say.
Yeah.
So like, I just think you've grown so much this year, that you've grown the team so much in the last like few months. I mean, when I joined, there was pretty much you and Roman, and obviously graphic. Now how many people we have working on it, how cool the people are as well. You know, it's onwards and upwards.
Exactly, yeah. And it's all just a bit of growth, you know. All works out. Like I said, I won't go into too much because I don't want to just get hooked on podcast waffle. I've done like 2-hour streams just talking about only the podcast.
No, so, exactly.
You know, we don't want to get too much. So your turn, AJX. I mean, I have still a bit more to say about 2023, but we can go over different topics and vary here. So
yeah. Oh, 2023 has been very strange. It's been a very strange year, but a very happy one. I will say. To me, I was basically where you were. Maybe I'd say 2022. I was where you were with my YouTube. I did so many videos. I did almost over 100, I think, in just that year. So coming into this year, there's a very big difference. So for the start of the year, all of January, I was like, you know what? I'm going to stream every day in January. I think I streamed for 15 days and gave up. But around that time, I met Debbie, which was obviously wonderful. and from there we started talking. We didn't start actually officially going out until March though. So I obviously, that was basically this year, a lot of it for me has been about the connections I've made. So I've made a lot of great friends. So I already had Pix as a good friend who is another streamer on Twitch, but then I met most of the strikers this year. We formed the strikers. I met Debbie, I met you, and obviously eventually you invited me on the podcast, which, as you know, was a very big thing for me. I was very excited when you asked me to co-host, because I'd always wanted to be on. And then there's a bunch of other like people that I can't mention everyone. There's so many people, but so many cool people this year that I just am so grateful to have met. And yeah, this year was basically for me about connections, about tournaments. I've pretty much been in every single Minecraft event you can be in at least once this year. Bar maybe the big two.
Oh, I guess like technically big three, isn't it, really?
Yeah, if you count Origins and Block Wars, then yeah, big three.
I was gonna say PB and be like MCC Block Wars.
Oh yeah, PB. Yeah, my bad, PB. I love you, PB. No, yeah, that would be cool to be in. But yeah, so yeah, I've been in Mania pretty much every single event bar the Pride event, as it was my best friend's birthday. So I was away for that one, and it's been wonderful. I love the Mania community. I love the Mayhem community. Joining that's been wonderful, and obviously we'll get to that later. Some people may know what we're talking about, some people might. And then stuff to do with, joining Crown Quest, so many other little mini events as well I've been involved in. And it has meant that this year, basically, my YouTube's taken a back seat. I think I started off the year quite well in terms of videos, but the fact was I was doing a lot of MCC content that had became quite samey to me, and I'd lost like my creativity in terms of MCC videos. Like I used to do stuff like, what if MCC was the Olympics? What if MCC had celebrities at the event? But then it became just like, these are the top 10 players of this event. These are my predictions for this event. So it became very samey, and also the MCC community is slightly smaller than it was back when I started. So it just meant that it was quite difficult to grow and so on. And so I took a break from that. I didn't expect the break to be this long. I can confirm that this year there is going to be videos back again, and I'm very excited. In fact, we can talk about that once we get to the 2024 section.
Yeah, of course.
But I just really had a nice year in terms of just I've said this before. The reason I started this whole YouTube thing wasn't to get like anything but people to talk to, like cool people to talk to. And I've got a group of friends now. Orbitzz, who's the coolest person to talk to, obviously. Aww. That's why so many people want to talk on this podcast. And then just like even Justin from the head of Mania, very good friends with Justin now. Yeah, it's been amazing. I've met so many cool people. I would love to mention literally all of them, like from Sandwich to all the llamas from MCC Rising to it's been utterly crazy, but that's been really the highlight of my year, the fact that I've just got so many friends and so on now.
any like very interesting parts of 2023 that stand out to you?
I think for me it was definitely about, I think I just got so tired with making the same MCC videos again. So sort of that the big thing was for me leaving that community. Now I did come back slightly, but I'm not sure how long those two videos are going to stay on my channel. So but I think that was a big send off, and that was a really interesting thing to try and do, because I was very much like, I want to send off in the best way possible. Like I want to make it a really good video, but I also just want it to be a video that's like any other. And the fact is that video actually popped off and got my most views in probably a year, so that was crazy. But yeah, I couldn't have done it without certain few people. Like WobDub did the thumbnail for that video. Twiggy did a lot of shorts for my channel this year as well. So yeah, that was the big thing. But also getting in a relationship, because as we talked about on the Ace podcast, I'm Ace, so getting in a relationship relationship was obviously a
Interesting
huge
one.
thing for me. Yeah. Especially with someone who's also in content. And of course, you've had the lovely Debbie on the podcast before we even knew each other. Well, I knew you. You didn't know me.
Yeah, and we teamed for the Jackcast charity game nights as well as the podcast team. It's me, you, Tontil, Roman, and Debbie, who's not a part of the podcast team but was on that team. And we won on golf rules technically, which is an interesting way to win. But you know, win's a win. So
I got first place individually.
Yeah, exactly. First and only time ever. There we go.
I'm a first place individual in Block Wars / Jackcast game nights.
Exactly. So
that's the way to do it.
Popping off, you know.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I'm trying to think of what stood out for me in 2020. I guess actually a bit more new because I do have a few questions.
Yeah, go for it.
You know, I mean, it's kind of harder to do this podcast because we do have a midweek MC called Captain AJX Meet the New Podcast Co-host, which was literally just an inside MC, but with you on midweek MC. So I've already kind of done the interviewing you. So in the last 3 months, has anything changed? Has anything changed since that podcast? Like anything new in the last 3 months? You know, with
I would say,
yeah, you're not gone. Yeah, you were going to say.
I would say meeting you was massive and starting the podcast together. I think from that point, I started a schedule with my week. So
you're welcome.
On Mondays and Tuesdays I have work. Then I used to do like a date night on Tuesday, and now me and Debbie have our own channel together where we record all the Tuesdays. Then I do this. Yes, thank you very much. I should advertise that probably. You wouldn't guess I was head of marketing for a company, would you? Then on Wednesdays I do this, and Thursdays I do Football Manager. Fridays is usually like an event or something or another is happening, and then same with Saturdays. So really my weeks are just so scheduled now. I literally have no time for anything would be my changes. But like I'm very happy with it being that way because obviously I like to talk to my friends and I get to spend time with my friends, but it is difficult because I obviously want to spend more time with like you or Pix or the strikers, but I just can't because I've scheduled something else in.
Yeah, because you also do the like straight after the podcast you normally go and join Pix's stream every Wednesday as well, so you know.
Yes, it's literally just chaos for me, which
it's fun.
There's some podcasts where you can obviously tell that I'm like I need to go.
I don't think it's all that noticeable. I mean, we make it work at the end of the day, and plus like
you are a brilliant editor, so
I make it. I mean, it's not really too hard to carve a few clips to make it sync, bro. Am I? So you know, I remember during the Feinberg podcast where the potato pie took part, and he left like he had to go near the end of it, which is really funny because like he just goes silent for about like 15 minutes, and then at the end I'm like, in case you didn't notice, Potato left about 15 minutes ago. And I was like, that's yet to happen on a midweek MC AJX where you need to go, and then I'm like in the outro, yeah, by the way, AJX isn't here anymore. He's gone. So
that would be funny though.
It all works out in the end, and you know the podcast has started uploading shorts now. That's what Jogana's role on the team is. Slow. It's a very slow start, but it's steady. You know, I guess like Jogana just needs to get into the flow of things, and hopefully by the time this podcast comes out, there's a good few shorts that have come out. But we'll see. You know, you can never plan the future, and you know, I'm no pressure on her at all, anyways. So.
No, of course. But yeah, that would be my huge change because I have videos I'm doing, so I'm planning to. We'll get to that actually, but I literally have no time to do the videos, so hopefully I can make some time at some point to start writing videos again and so on.
Yeah, I mean, I have a plan for InsaneOrbitzz video. Wherever or not that goes through, I don't know. It'll be recorded on this Friday from when we're recording the podcast, so hopefully the idea ends up going out, but we'll see. It's pretty similar to InsideMC. The idea is there, but you know, and that will probably trick you into thinking it's something else, but you'll see what's going to happen if that video does come out, which I'm hoping it does. So, but yeah, all in all, I abandoned InsaneOrbitzz. I made a tweet, a YouTube community post a few months back mentioning how like InsaneOrbitzz, in case it wasn't apparent already, I've kind of given up on. I was just kind of shit posting, and in all honesty, I've deleted a good few of those videos, or at least unlisted them to clean up my channel a little bit, because I realized that like I can give up on it, but there's no point turning it into a horrible archive. Like I should still make it look nice with the good videos that I actually tried. So it's sad, but you know, all the effort's going into the podcast. Hopefully the podcast can get somewhere. You know, hopefully shorts will help that. And I mean, just in general, like podcast episodes are doing really good. You know, we're consistently getting a good amount of viewers compared to sub ratio, especially because when I returned with the podcast, I had about 700 subscribers. So technically my view ratio is actually based, our view ratio is actually based on about 300 subscribers. I'd like to say that's pretty good, you know?
Yes, very good.
All things considered. But, you know, with shorts, I know there's going to gain a lot of subscribers, so the view count to sub count is going to be interesting. But we'll cross that bridge down the line, won't won't we? We'll see where we're at with podcasting in a few months.
Yes, I think that's probably the biggest thing for both of us. Both sort of leaving YouTube in the last year, sort of
on our main accounts at least, anyways.
Yeah, on our main accounts, definitely. Yeah, but as you say, you plan to do a few things on there. I plan to fully bring back AJX in a different manner. So that's at least an exciting thing to look at.
And we'll see where it takes us.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a few more interesting moments of 2023. A few more like fun things that happened. I went to TwitchCon EU.
Oh, of course, yes.
Which was definitely interesting because it was in July, so I hadn't still really established myself in the community at that time. Like, I mean, I bumped into Space Brownies and talked to Space Brownies. Me and Jack said hello to each other. We'd talked a lot online, but didn't really talk much in person, which is partial my fault because I didn't like stick around for long. But you know, I saw like all these other content creators. You know, I queued up to meet CPK, who recognized my name. But at the time, like, you know, I feel like if that was now, I think the interaction would have been like, oh, more like, oh, like I actually really know you, not just I know your name in chat, if that makes sense. And you know, so it's interesting, and it was really, really cool. Did a round trip. Left my house at 3 a.m. Got to France at about 9 a.m. Did TwitchCon, then got back home at like 11 p.m. at night. So it was definitely an interesting day and was quite fun. However, probably didn't do the best financially because once again I was out of a job at this time, so it was very awkward. However, you know, things are looking on the up and all that kind of stuff. So I enjoyed that, and then kind of in links to TwitchCon, there was also the MCC Twitch Rivals that happened in America, which I'm hoping to go to TwitchCon America next year, depending on how things go. So stay tuned for that. And you know, we bought Noxite on the podcast. We bought Cloudfuel on the podcast. For context, in case you don't know who they are, Noxite is the owner of Nox Crew and MZC, and then Cloudfuel is the player manager or something to do with that for Twitch Rivals. So, you know, pretty cool how we was able to get them both on MidweekMC. We were both able to have a conversation with them, and as hints to a possible MCC in Europe. So hopefully in 2024 I can go to TwitchCon whenever it gets announced. It'd be nice if they announced it soon. You know, my predictions are on either England or Spain. If it's in England, it's going to be handy, but if it's in Spain, I can still go, of course. Just handy if it's in England, and definitely going to be interesting.
Very true. Much more handy if it's in England.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was a big thing for me as well. Obviously, talking about MCC for so long, having Noxite on the podcast was crazy.
And it was all thanks to me, because I reached out to even MidweekMC guests. Like I know I brand it very much to be like mainly AJX's things based on like thumbnails and stuff like that, but like I still do all the BTS, and that's not to take credit away from you, AJX. I guess it's just a conversation in itself.
I don't deserve any credit.
But like, you know, MidweekMC is more branded towards you because you're the co-host and you don't really. I mean, obviously the door's always open for you to come on some InsideMC episodes, depending on the one you want to come on. But I love the idea of InsideMC kind of just sitting down and waffling away with a guest like us two. That's why I turn it into just kind of an interviewing podcast, which is not an interview at all. And like, it's the best way to brand it, but it really isn't, because at the end of the day, an interview is you have set questions and you don't care about the answer, and you have your next question ready. As like with the podcast, I'm listening to what you're saying and I'm asking questions based on that, you know? Yeah, exactly. I think, we definitely like more of a talk to whoever we have on, and I think it works well. Very obviously, I enjoyed my time on midweek these past few months. Yeah, it's fun. I always take a bit of charge though. Sorry about that, AJX. Oh no, I don't mind. Look, as you know, I have no time, so the fact you take charge is pretty good, because otherwise I don't think anything would get done. I mean, also on the podcast. Sorry, like while we're talking, even today, I feel like I'm talking too much compared to you. No, I like listening to you talk. So in a bros way, yeah, because we're bros. Because we're bros, we're homies. Exactly. I mean, I do have a very beautiful voice. Apparently, no, I don't. I don't have a beautiful voice. But, you know, that was a big thing this year. I invited. Was that our first interaction you can remember? Because obviously I'd listened to the podcast a few times, but the first interaction was me inviting you to be on Thing, wasn't it? No, we had an interaction before that. Did we? Yeah. So as far as I remember, you didn't interact with the Debbie podcast. I could be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure you didn't interact with that tweet at all. Yeah, I know you listened to it most likely, but as far as I remember, you didn't like or retweet it or anything. I think I did and commented. Did you? Oh, maybe you did. Okay, well, anyways. I would definitely support my girlfriend. I think I even retweeted it. So. Maybe. I mean, I was uploaded on my birthday, so... Yes, exactly. So there's a lot happening. I'm trying to scroll up in our chat, and I've only just gotten to December. Oh my god, we typed too much, AJX. I remember, because we talked about our first interaction 3 months ago on that podcast, so I'm trying to find it. As far as I remember, but it was through NPCs, which sadly is now no longer a thing.
Obsolete.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we did that was one of our first interactions, was like me sending you a friend request and adding you, be like, yo, AJX. But our first like major like call or interaction was through your video. Yeah, that would be the first like major, and I guess give or take public one, was you invited me to help your video.
Yeah, that was very interestingly because I was planning on stopping MCC videos, so I wanted to do one where I had a bunch of cool people.
I honestly wish you didn't. I wish you continued making MCC videos, because they are good. I mean, they are. Like, I really do enjoy your content. I reckon you could like do it kind of a full-time thing, but obviously it's what you're passionate about, right? Like the podcast.
Wait until you see what I have cooking.
Yeah, and I'm excited for it, of course, 100%. I'm just saying, like, I did enjoy your MCC content, like same way I enjoy like all things MC and stuff, and even like the Mez now is on the rise. But
of course,
you know, definitely a fan. I'm still scrolling. I've only just gotten to November. Oh my goodness.
You're not gay. We talk so often.
I will get there at one point. I wish there was a way you could just jump to top. Like maybe if I search a certain thing that happened, like what if I just search the word it and then go to like the oldest one? I might be able to jump. Yeah, 67 pages of it apparently. Here we go. Right, I've cheated the system. I've jumped to May. Here we go.
Oh, this is why we weren't talking as much.
Okay, yeah. So literally straight at the start, the 9th of May, I messaged you, first ever message. Hi, Bessie.
That's so ironic.
It is. It's because you tweeted about the MCC quiz league, and I was interested. There we go, which you never did. And I got you on a different video. Sorry? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I had no clue about MCC, so I said maybe not. And I asked about where you were from. You said you were Britain. I didn't know you're from Britain. I didn't know that. And then we kind of talk about your content a little bit. And then on the 23rd of May, I sent a message. You date Debbie? I never knew this law. I didn't know you were ace either. I didn't know anything about you.
I remember I was in call with Debbie when you sent so. Incredible history lesson for us.
And then we were messaging on Discord mainly at one point, and then we moved to Twitter. And then on the 11th of the 6th, I was interested in taking part in your thing, because I think you made a tweet about it, and I said I was interested. And then apparently the only reason you invited me on was so that you could come on the podcast. So that's what you admitted to. So
yes,
it was definitely funny. Yeah. And yeah, from that we kind of just kept talking. You know, ended up getting close, and then eventually you became the co-host of MidweekMC, which has paid off essentially. So
exactly.
So like the reason I should have really wrote down notes of like all the things that stood out to me, but you know, I did a decent amount, most of them local, but like my biggest thing was TwitchCon and mainly the podcast. Like when a lot of people say, oh, like, well, no one's ever really said it, but if you think I talk about the podcast so much, there's a reason for it, and it's because like it's all I've really had going for me this year. And this is, I guess I'm transitioning into 2024 here better than just going, let's talk about 2024. You know, there's like a lot of plans. Like in March, I'm going to Insomnia, hopefully meeting up with AJX. We applied for the creator pass, sadly got rejected. However, I reapplied for it under the podcast name, so hopefully I might do something, but we'll see. And you know, I hope to go to TwitchCon. I want to go to America 2 times. Like there's a lot I want to do in 2024, and there's a lot of plans and a lot of cool stuff planned for the podcast. But like just an overall of 2023, it was definitely a rough year for me, and a lot of people don't know this because I don't really talk about personal life. Like, and this is why I want to make like how to run a Minecraft podcast. That's why I want to make that podcast, and it will happen at one point. It'll definitely happen. Maybe even this month, who knows? But you know, a lot of people like, I make it look so easy, and it sounds really cocky, but it's true because I've had people tell me, like, you know, I've seen people start podcasts and I've seen people do stuff. That's not me indirecting anyone, and like it's not even in this community for the most part. Like I see a lot of people outside the community that I know or I follow, and then like they'll start a podcast and stuff, but no one knows how like hard it is to truly run a Minecraft podcast. Like when you think like, you know, oh, he's just uploading like once a week and now twice a week, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, you know, scheduling. Like I had a really bad week a few weeks back, and you noticed where like I had to constantly keep rescheduling guests on, like not even me, they were rescheduling me. So I'm like, okay, cool, I have this plan, oh crap, it's moved to this, and it was such a stressful week, and I still got through it, and it still did it, and it's like, oh my god. So you know, I guess this is just partially me getting a bit sappy and kind of thanking you all for 2023. 2023 because, you know, it was definitely a tough year. But for anyone who supported the podcast and people who are now supporting the podcast, because I'm always very open to it, right? I'm not like, as much as I'm like, oh yeah, I respect the OGs from the start, it's not some people's fault that they didn't know about the podcast at the start. Like, there's a lot of people, like, there's one person on Twitter once Akko got announced, and they were like, oh my god, Appo now Akko, this is so cool. And it's like, they only found me because I announced Appo and Akko. You know, maybe they'll go back and listen to our podcast, but it's not their fault that they didn't know me from that. So like, just anyone over the years or over the year and just in general, and anyone who will, like, thank you so much. I know MidweekMC doesn't do as amazing because obviously people are watching the big, like, the inside MCs for the guests that we bring on, but you know, for anyone who is listening to this, you're amazing. Thank you, and thank you for helping me get through like 2023, because if it wasn't for the podcast I would have quit by now, and I'm very, very honest in saying that I wouldn't be doing content, I wouldn't be in this community, I would have gone offline and just like, I don't know what I'd be doing in my life, you know, but I wouldn't have any ambition or motivation, whereas right now I do. So 2024 though, AJX, go on, you can take it away.
Oh, okay, so my plans for this year, obviously continue everything I'm doing, because, you know, as much as means I've not got much time, I do love seeing my friends and so on, so that's amazing. I am planning hopefully to move, own my own house. That's exciting in real life. And then
I meant on Minecraft.
Oh, imagine
MCCI housing, no way.
just changing my bed. And then the big thing is that I'm planning a completely new sort of format for AJX. Basically everyone loves me going first place, blah blah blah, so I'm basically going along those lines, and I'm doing ranking videos, which I'm very excited about, and we've been starting to work on already. We're doing a Mario Kart video, Mario Kart 8 video, where we're ranking every single track, and we on Separated by Pixels on our Twitch channel, mine and Debbie's, we're going through all the tracks on there and having everyone on stream basically rank it in basically a group order. So it's going to be very interesting when it comes out, and but the whole year I'm planning to hopefully make 12 videos, so one per month. However, 2 will be in December because I know that's when ad revenue is best. And January, it seemed a bit too quick to jump in to make several videos already in January. So yeah, that's the exciting thing that's happening for me. I'm very, very hopeful that this hopefully gets AJX back on track and gets everyone excited. So
yeah, and I'm excited to see what you've got planned, you know, what's coming in 2024, and it'll be fun to see your return. I mean, like, you know, I could easily plan and try and plan guests to come in December when ad revenue is the highest, but you know, I guess slash J, but you know, I'm inviting guests on, and I've always said this, that like I find interesting and I'd like to talk to, and just because you haven't been invited yet doesn't mean I don't want you on. And if you'd like to come on, obviously please reach out. It doesn't guarantee that you'll be a guest, especially because I'm just so backlogged with like how many people have not said they're interested but shown interest. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know, if somebody adds me on Discord, for example, I don't really see a reason for them to add me on Discord, you know, because I'm not really doing anything else. I'm the podcast guy, right? And maybe they just want to have me added, maybe they just think I'm cool, which is great. But you know, all in all, there's a lot of people who have shown possible interest and I think would like to come on, and I hope to get on. So you know, reaching out doesn't always guarantee you, but also at the same time, if I haven't reached out, it doesn't mean I don't want you on. Just yeah, there's a lot planned. There's a lot planned with the podcast, and it's fully passion. Like, obviously, hopefully soon the podcast will be earning a bit of revenue, which would be quite cool. I know when it gets to 3,000 watch time in the last 365 days, I can enable memberships. So at one point you'll see a tweet about that, and then at 1,000 hours, then ads will be enabled and stuff, and we're earning a bit of money. But that's just a nice benefit for hard work. Like, you know, it's passion, but you know, you see big content creators, it's still passion for them, but at the end of the day, like, you want to earn money from it as well. You want to make it a full-time thing, and I want to make it a full-time thing so I can be even more passionate about it, you know. So we both got big plans, AJX, and we're going to grow together. It's going to be great.
Exactly, that's sort of exactly what I want to do, basically. So that's what I've always wanted to do, grow with my friends and sort of work together for the community as well. Just do good, as good as a job I can for my friends and for the community I'm in. So I'm very excited about that. But there's other exciting things we've done that have been announced recently, isn't there?
Go ahead.
Well, you have been announced as player manager for MC Mayhem, which congratulations.
Thank
applause
you.
Applause.
It's been fun. The first Mayhem that we're working on. Actually, no, carry on and then I'll talk. So
well, I was going to say, and someone has been made a team maker, which is me. I'm one of the team makers.
Let's go.
Yes, along with Personified and Jackcast. So I'm very excited about that.
It's gonna be fun working alongside you three. I mean, it already has been definitely been interesting. When this podcast comes out, the teams would have already been announced for this season, and the day we're recording this, actually, you know, we're working on it. And then on Saturday, from when this podcast is coming out, the event will be taking place. So definitely tune into that 8 PM. You can see some of the really cool people I've invited, and some of the really cool people that like AJX, Jack, and Personified formed on teams and stuff. So I'll let you talk a bit more on that though, because you're more excited about this than I am. So go on, waffle away about
it. I'm just extremely excited to be working as a team. I think the event community is wonderful, and obviously I am a co-owner of MC Central along with 10 other people. So co-owner's a bit of a stretch, but
very big stretch.
I worked on an event there. I created teams for that, and I realized I love making teams. This is like a puzzle. I've said, making everything work, making sure that it's competitive and everyone's having a good time and so on. So I'm really excited to do this one, and I'm super pumped for Mayhem, because obviously it's another level, but it's still going to be really cool to be a part of and just work on.
It's certainly interesting. I mean, I don't want to say too much, because obviously so with the podcast, I can guarantee that this is going to stick around, and I'm going to keep working on it, because this is my most passionate thing, and I will prioritize this because it's my biggest form of content right now, so I'm going to. But with Mayhem, it's been great being a player manager, and I'm definitely enjoying it. At some points it's taken away from the podcast, where I've had to kind of stop editing or stop doing stuff to sort out that, or make an announcement, or sort out the Discord and stuff like that. So yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see how well it's doing on the off seasons, or how much I have to do, and then when how much time I have to prioritize when there is a season of Mayhem. So I can't guarantee I'll be a player manager forever, but I'm definitely in a spot right now where I'm helping kind of revive the event, or kind of fix it up a little bit, in a sense. Not saying that it was previously done bad, but I'm just I've talked with Shalom, and just some of the stuff that I have planned for people to invite and people to do things to do with the event. I mean, I keep myself very limited to player manager. I don't have any effect on the coding, on the games, or anything like that. I'm purely player manager, and I help the team makers. But all in all, it's gonna be interesting to see the future, and I mean, because in 2 months time, I might even say, oh yeah, this has been fun, but I can't really stick with this because I got spend fully time on podcast.
Yeah, exactly. You're inputting your vision. That's what I'd say.
Exactly, and I'm helping kind of start it up, and then if I can, because it could even just be I'm there to help kickstart it, and then I hand it over to the appropriate person to see it through, or maybe I keep it going, or I don't know. We'll see what happens. But you guys are doing an amazing job as team makers right now. I'm excited to see what people think of the teams. We'll know by the time this podcast comes out what people think of the teams. So it's definitely going to be interesting.
Yeah,
it's going to be fun.
Yes, definitely.
Sorry, I kind of took over there again. My bad, AJ.
No, that was wonderful. It's an exciting thing that's happening in our lives. So
how did it feel?
Yes, how did it feel for what?
When you got invited?
Oh, I was ecstatic, because I wasn't expecting to be. So that was really cool to get the invite to something that I really wanted to be a part of. So I'm very excited for the future of the event and what we're doing.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's going to be a big part of our lives. Obviously, the podcast is our own channels, and obviously we both have jobs that we also attend to, so it's non-stop for both of us.
I mean, honestly,
so it's
my
going to
main
be
channel.
crazy.
My main channel isn't going to make a big return. I mean, I got something planned, but I know it's not going to do well for views, because it's not meant to do well for views. It's just a fun little thing to do that I'm going to edit. But the podcast is biggest priority, and we got some cool stuff. I touched on that we're going to be going to Insomnia. Both of us are going to be meeting up. It's going to be really fun, and trying to get Creative Pass under the InsideMC name. If we don't, then it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Obviously, I'm not going to say what plans are that we have, because that doesn't mean plans are always going to be set in stone. But we're definitely going. I plan to go to.
Also, I don't want to have to watch wear my mask the whole time.
Exactly, yeah. So I don't want to leave too much. And then, plus, if you see me, I might even be hanging out with other people, whatever, because I got a few content creator friends who are going, and I'm more established in the community. It's nicer, so we can kind of hang out with different people. You have your friends, I have mine, or even just basically together. But once again, we'll see. Plans can change and stuff can happen. So there's that. I want to go to TwitchCon EU, which is gonna be really fun. Hoping to go to that. I'm not sure about yourself. myself if you're going to go. I want to go to TwitchCon America, maybe even VidCon at one point. There's like, I want to do a lot of traveling this year. I'm at the age where like, you know, I can be financially stable and I want to go traveling. But that also means like balancing the podcast, because if I'm working, which I am, I have to essentially take holidays appropriately. And, you know, I found out that like the job I work at is quite nice with holidays, like unpaid and stuff like that. But I need to plan on like, okay, I need to take this holiday. For instance, when I go to Insomnia, right, I'll happily say this. I'm heading to Insomnia on the Friday, and Insomnia is on the Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But I'm heading there on the Friday, and I leave on the Monday. But then I've also taken the Thursday and the Tuesday off so I can edit. And because I'm planning when I get home that Monday, unless I do the other thing that I want to do, which I won't talk about just in case it doesn't happen, straight after Insomnia, I'm planning to have a podcast edited on Thursday, MidweekMC, edited that Thursday, recorded that Wednesday, edited the Thursday, ready to go out the week after. And then when I get back on the Monday, I'm going to record a podcast. So
I was going to say, have you considered we could do a podcast there?
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, that's definitely an idea, but that would technically be the week after MidweekMC. It wouldn't be the week before MidweekMC. Yeah, because then it would be too stressful trying to get edited. And you know, I like to keep my schedule. I like to keep fit. You know, it took a lot of convincing to get me to change the podcast from 12 till 4. So it paid off. It definitely paid off. So.
Yes, exactly.
And so, I mean, just the podcast in itself, you know, we got something cooking in the pipeline, which if it doesn't happen by the end of January, it's not happening. So you'll either see it or you won't. I'm not going to say much on that. And, you know, there's like other little things, you know, shorts have started. We got the wiki that's going to be maintained. Got big plans for MidweekMC. Got a lot of really cool guests planned that I hope to bring on. Some confirmed, some unconfirmed. I mean, AJX, once again, you've seen the list and it looks very exciting. And, you know, I just hope to take the podcast. Like, I don't think I'll be able to take it full time. You never really know. Maybe I could get like a massive sponsorship, which would be great. I'm hoping like to get somewhere by like, you know, by the end of the year. I mean, I have like big aspirations of, I'd love to, for instance, go to the Minecraft movie premiere, which is very unlikely, but would be very cool, you know, to do like when watching Jack May's Happy Hour podcast, he got to do like he got to watch Ricky Jarvis, I think it was Armageddon early, and then like make a podcast about it for when it released. So I'd love to do that with like the Minecraft movie, like go to the premiere and then be able to record a podcast to have it released when the Minecraft movie comes out. Or like, you know, I'd love to maybe have a TwitchCon panel, which obviously won't happen this year, but maybe in 2025 could be quite cool. I remember somebody asking, when are you going to have your own panel? And I replied 2025. So who knows? Maybe I spoke it into existence. And, you know, there's like loads of other things I'd love to do, but I'm not counting my chickens before they've hatched. I'm just going to have fun with the podcast, keep passionate about it, and whenever I can take an opportunity. I think I've gotten quite good at that, taking opportunities when they've come. I think I've gotten very good at like planning and doing all that kind of stuff. So it'd be interesting to see where we go from there, kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm just so excited for the future, and that's sort of what New Year's about, isn't it?
Exactly. Staying positive, working hard, you know.
Exactly. Improving.
Exactly. And, you know, maybe who knows? Maybe if I take this full time, we might introduce a third podcast a week. Maybe not. That's a bit too much.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my god. You literally not have. You would have to edit podcast edit, and then one day off.
Yeah. True.
That would be crazy.
I mean, if I took it full time, it should be possible, because it'd just be like working a job.
Exactly.
But yeah, overall, AJX, I mean, unless you have anything to say, this was kind of just a waffle podcast. There wasn't really an idea behind this. We were just kind of chatting away about just having a conversation and uploading it as a podcast, because that's what MidweekMC I want to do more. We're going to have set topics, but this one is more just of like a messier, chilled, laid back vibe. And I'm even sitting back in my chair, so I hope I'm loud enough. I should be, but you know, we're kind of just waffling away. It's great. Well, for you, I mean, for my recording, I don't know.
True. My bad. Yeah.
No, you're good.
Exactly. So I'm excited for the future year of more midweek MCs.
And a lot of plans. A lot of fun stuff planned. A lot of stuff to keep an eye out. And I think this brings the end of Midweek MC AJX.
Yes, exactly.
Well then, for everyone who's watched up until this point, and especially on like a Midweek MC where it's just me and AJX chatting, thank you so much for an amazing 2023. And anyone who might be watching this at some point in the future, you know, I thank you for contributing at any point in your life through the podcast. Got a lot of cool stuff planned. You know, happy. I know there's not really a point of wishing Happy New Year because it's coming out fairly after, but Happy New Year anyways to everyone from myself and AJX. And I think since you did the intro, AJX, you can do the outro today.
Well, thank you everyone very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out InsideMC on Twitter and on YouTube if you're listening on Spotify, that is. Or on Spotify if you're listening on YouTube. That's how it works. Thank you so much for watching, and of course, peace.
Don't eat too much bread. I have to say I'm sorry again.